Well, it's great to be here in Reading. Reading is a real success story. It's somewhere that combines having been a real economic powerhouse with having much better services. And it's striking to come here, and when you compare Reading, a Labour council, to local Tory councils, there's a lower council tax here and better services at the same time. So you've got a low council tax, and yet, for example, for the elderly people I've been talking to today, they're going to get more care in Reading than they would if they were in a Tory council in the surrounding area. And the winter fuel allowance is also a big difference between a Labour government and the previous Tory government. It didn't used to exist at all. People sometimes forget that. We recognise that this year fuel bills can be difficult for people, and that's why we're putting the winter fuel allowance up to £400 for people over 80 to £250 for other pensioners.
Oh, the winter fuel allowance is marvellous, and I'm 80 this year, in July rather, so I shall get me extra bit, won't I? So I think it's marvellous, yeah, and I think it's very good, and and it helps people to keep warmer, and I think that that people need this, because if you're not warm in your home, where are you ever? You're never warm anywhere else, are you?
I was looking at some figures the other day about the difference between what's being spent on fuel payments now compared to 1996. 1996 it was £60 million in the whole country. Now it's billions of pounds in the whole country, and we'll now have a winter fuel payment of £400 this year. So that is a huge difference.
And a big thrust of our election campaign, and which is why we were delighted to welcome the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, James Purnell, is the services that Reading provides for pensioners: the free bus passes, the home care for the elderly, right up to critical and moderate care needs. We're contrasting that with the dreadful way that pensioners are treated in Tory-controlled West Berkshire and in Tory-controlled Wokingham. We've seen council tax rises of 4% and 5% in those two authorities, whereas here in Reading we've capped council tax rises down to 1.9%. So here in Reading, with better care needs, with better services for the elderly, pensioners are much better off, and that's a central thrust of our campaign, and we're very proud of the services that we've been able to provide, particularly for elderly members of our community.
We've been learning from Reading. Reading, I think, was the second place to do free bus travel for pensioners, and now, of course, that's something that the government has brought in all around the country. From this April, it's not going to be just local free bus travel, but it's going to be national free bus travel for pensioners. In addition to that, we've had free eye tests, we've got free TV licences for the over 75s, we've had the pension going up faster than inflation. So we've been committed to putting more money and more resources into helping older people when they need help, but also ensuring that people have independence and can enjoy their retirement.
Things that Labour are doing for pensioners, the better bus passes, the better winter fuel allowance, will make a difference.
How do you think your life will change if the Tories get into power in Reading?
I'll get poorer. Life will get a lot harder. Maintaining my current standard of living will get more difficult. And when it comes to the time that I actually need support, real support, it won't be there for me.
So vote Labour on May 1st?
Of course.
Everything that's happened here in Reading has been done by Labour. It's something that we fought for in the beginning. We went out and we got people interested in things, and it was marvellous.